Hello and welcome back. Today I'm going to show off a few buildings that I haven't finished yet. And the question that I'm positing to everyone is, what should I finish first? Here we have a building that's inspired by the Palace of St. James in England. I tried to do this in kind of a Tudor style with the brick, with the coins, with the crenellations. It's not my favorite building, and there's more I'd like to do, and there's even, more in this part of the world. You can see here the Palace of Westminster, which I do have a lot done on, but I didn't actually finish the Victoria Tower on the other side. And there's also a lot of detail work that I'd like to do, including down along the riverside. So this is also something that at some point I should try to finish and also develop that part of the city. I do like the way it looks from the waterfront, though. I think it looks very stately and a lot like the real life one here along the bridge. Going across the bridge, we have a flat area where I had laid out the plan to build Notre Dame de Paris. That's something that really is in only the planning stages. I set that aside to work on Versailles. It's also funny because it's next to Grand Central Terminal from Manhattan. That's something that I've also done a lot of work on, but that was years ago. There are some different techniques that I would use today, some different textures that I would use, and a lot of the detail work has to be done. Also, the roof has to be redone, probably with a nice oxidized copper instead of this green terracotta. I also want to redo the concourse where the trains come in. We have here some empty city blocks where I'm probably going to build the Ritz Tower very soon. But also I wanted to do some, early 20th century downtown tall style buildings. And as you can see, I only have facades for a handful of them. Those also I had done a long time ago. Going up to Capitol Hill and then just down, we have what I had originally designed as a bathhouse that's built down into the ground. I was trying to do the baths of Caracalla or the baths of Diocletian in full scale. The main room here is actually based off of Old Penn Station. I had already built that in my world, but I was trying to do something at a larger scale. And then I have these underground exercise areas like an indoor track. And I have tennis courts. This is something that I was just kind of freewheeling and I haven't worked on in a long time. This was actually before the game had any other wall variants, so I have some cobblestone walls here and there. The front facade of this building is based off of the Met in Manhattan. And I do like the way the front facade looks. It's just the rest of the building is kind of a hodgepodge. Across the street from it, we have a building where the front facade was based off of the James A. Farley Post Office building. That's right across the street from Penn Station. Today it's the Moynihan Train Hall. I was building mine as a shopping mall, and this was actually before, or I was aware of Moynihan Train Hall. That's how long ago this was. The mall had a central atrium with branching off corridors. The stores are very bare and very boring. This is when I was first really trying to experiment with the clone feature and the fill feature for Minecraft. So there's a lot that would have to be redone with this building. The outside facade is okay. There are probably a few things I would change though. we have a baseball stadium, which I tried to build inspired by Fenway Park. It doesn't look like Fenway Park, but that was the inspiration. I tried to make the diamond proper size and the outfield proper size. This one, it's mostly the concession, ticket booths, areas like that that have to be finished. A lot of the rest of it is fine. And I have this nice big arch that goes into the outfield. Next to the baseball stadium, we have an office building. It's next to the Capitol. I intended it to be like a Senate or House office buildings. There are about half a dozen because there are too many staffers for Congress for them all to have their offices within the Capitol. This building is also just a little bit boring. The most interesting part would be a rotunda here on the corner. I just never quite figured out exactly how I wanted it to be. We have some smaller buildings, like a corner bank that I had started work on. I just never finished. We have a handful of houses that are supposed to be like Boston brownstones up on Beacon Hill, all kind of close together. I just never really finished this area. We have a church. It's based off of King's Chapel in Boston. And also, this is something that I had done a very long time ago, and there are many more textures and blocks nowadays that I'd rather use. We have a whole empty block behind the church. We have a building that I started to do in kind of a Baroque style, but I only did the outer shell. The inside is completely empty. We have here on the edge of Lafayette Square a building that's inspired by the University of Virginia, designed by Thomas Jefferson. The idea was to have a couple of peristyles with classrooms around them and a central rotunda building. That's also something where it's mostly the details that have to be added in, and roofing. Lafayette Square itself is pretty much completed. I have some nice row houses. There's one row house on the corner that I just never got around to finishing. I intended for it to be a bit grander than the other ones. I just didn't know exactly how to do it at the time. We have an unfinished hotel behind some of the row houses. That's something that I might just want to start over fresh with. And there's a similar one on the other side of these row houses. These row houses I actually built based off of plans from Gustav Stickley. And across the street from that hotel, we have a church where most of the outside is finished. I just never got around to finishing the inside. It's a smaller church than a lot of the other ones that I've worked on. Then we have this hotel down in the downtown area. Most of the middle floors are already finished. They have many hotel rooms that have been copied and pasted, but it's the ground level and just above where the lobby, ballrooms, all those kinds of things are that I just haven't finished, and a lot of it's very empty. Even the grand ballroom, it's very dark still, and it needs a lot of work. The terracotta design is even different now than when I had built it. We have this random building that I intended as kind of like a clubhouse for a fraternal organization. Again, textures are different now than when I had built this, and there's a lot that I'd like to do differently. Going down to the water, we have some unfinished boats. There's a small scale Titanic here. It's really, it should be just a smaller ship with not 4 funnels. I just wanted to build something like Titanic without committing to do the full 882.5 foot long model. It has some interesting inside details. I was working on trying to do the grand staircase. I built a couple of the staterooms. I had space for the first class dining salon. Most of the ship is still empty, though. We have a couple of frigates that I had started on. And then the last building that I'm going to show off now that I haven't finished. The idea was to base it off of Rose Wharf in Boston, which has a large arch that goes through from the street side to the bay side. I intended for it to be a hotel. You can see one half I have these huge glass windows for an atrium, but there's a lot that I'd like to do differently with this. So let me know what you think and what buildings I should try to finish. Please check out my other videos. I'm still working on the Versailles project along with some other side projects, but I thought with some of these unfinished buildings, it might be nice to get a little bit of input on what I should go back to and polish up. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you at the next one. Bye.